So,
that means the basic conceptually knowledge of SOX compliance, what is the SOX and the risk, how to, what is the risk in RAR and that kind of, you are aware of. CUP was there in 4.0? Provisioning part.
It was what you call only the, we were using it for conflict of interest and segregation of duties. Those were the two things which were basically dealt in the firefighter.
Okay. That means you were doing the RT when you are creating a user and assignment of the roles. That point of time you were running the risk analysis reports and finding out what kind of violations are there. Right?
Right.
Not wrong? Okay. That means you were frequently using the RT in your security projects.
Right. And we were basically running those reports because I think the manual way of doing segregation of duties and conflict of interest was just getting too cumbersome.
Okay. Yes. Okay. A lot of things are changed in after 4.0 in terms of the functionality. I think most of the time in 4.0 you were using only firefighter and the RAR. ERM was also there but was not used. But in 5.3 is currently in the market and the 10.0. In 5.3 SP20 is going on and as 10.0 it's SP12 is there into the market. Should I go through the basics of what kind of the releases are there and then 10.0?
I think release won't be that big of a deal because you can start
not from... Release, it's a functional point of view and the technology part perspective. What kind of the technologies and what is the differences and what has been added if you see from 4.0.
Okay. Yeah, anything which is you think would be useful for my level of interest or information, that would be fine.
Yeah, for example, in 4.0, I don't think that there is a BI integration, right? It's the report integrations, which was incorporated in 5.3. Similarly, logs, audit logs, and those were not there. And the management report was not so much informative if we compare with the current releases. Okay. So I'm showing you the first thing, the contains part. I believe you are interested the most of the time 10.0. 10.0 is a web-based technology which is using. Okay. And from the front end side, we are using the web info for ABAP and the FPM technologies. And from the back end side, it's a function modules, ABAP, OOPS programming we are doing. There is a component called GRC FND_A which need to be installed onto the RP system for the GRC box.
And what you said is,
if you see in 4.0, component name you are talking about?
Yeah.
GRC FND_A.
GRC
and FND.
FND.
Yeah, FND_A.
Okay.
Yeah, that is the component. And if you compare with the previous releases, in what happens in previous releases, there was in GRC umbrella, there are 4 to 5 applications are there, right? Like access control, process control, risk management, GTS. Okay. So in previous releases, what happens? You need to download individual components from the SMP and then deploy onto your systems, right? But in 10.0, all of them are put together. GRC, access control, process control, risk, only is being your relationship the customer will be able to use the application. And nowadays around 2000 customers are there for 5.3 release, and 2000 customers for 5.3, and 400 to 500 customers are there on 10.0 systems. Let me go to the course contents perspective.
You said how many in the 5 version?
There are 3 versions are there: 5.1, 5.2, and 5.3. 5.1 and 5.2 SAP is not supporting now because we do not have the code base. 5.3 is also going to be not to be supported by SAP in 1 or 2 years, but it is very much being used by the customers, and customers are pretty much happy with the 5.3 performance. So they are, because of that, SAP is extending the support also. But as part of the new functionalities, 5.x series, SAP is not going to provide any functionality part. But in 10.0, the reason is SAP is going to marketize this 10.0 product itself, and it is a ABAP-based technology that is governed by SAP only. Whereas the 5.3, if you see, front end was in Java, whereas back end was in ABAP. There are two GRC, there are 2 components. One is the GRC box, second is a NetWeaver box or your plugin system, where you are doing the actual provision. For example, you are creating the user and roles into the actual ERP system, right? But in the GRC system, you are pulling that data and analyzing that. Similarly, you can do the provisioning from the GRC box as well. The basic part, there are 4 components in GRC, in a GRC access control. That is a RAR, ERM or BRM, and CUB. And last one is a firefighter. RAR is basically customers are using RAR and SPM. I haven't seen that the CUP is there or they are using that because I'm not pretty much familiar with the 4.0 series. Altaf, do you have an idea whether the CUP was there in 4.0? Because RAR and SPM I have seen.
At that, it's been a while because I haven't been using it, so I couldn't even say even the names are the same. Only the firefighter is.
The firefighter was initially it was a firefighter. Then after it's a SPM, super user management access, and now it's a EAM, emergency access management. The naming convention was already changed. If you see, in 4.0 it was firefighter, in 5.x series it was a SPM, super user privilege management. Now it's a EAM, emergency access management. Similarly, if you see, in 4.0 it's a compliance calibrator. It was there in till 5.2 it was compliance calibrator, but in 5.3 it was changed to RAR, risk analysis and remediation. And now it is called as a ARA, access risk analysis. Similarly, it was CUP in 5.x series. Now it's a ARQ, access request. Okay. And ERM was there in the 5.x series, whereas now it is set to be a BRM. The reason is, if you see in 5.x series or 4.0, basically they were maintaining the technical roles, whereas in 10.0 the business of the company or based on the functional areas, we are categorizing the roles as a business roles, and under the business roles we are defining the technical roles. So naming convention is quite changed. Functionality wise, if you see from 5.3 currently we are supporting only those most of the things which are there in 5.3. Licensing issue is decreased somehow. The maintenance is decreased if you compare with the 5.3. And Altaf, do you have the ABAP knowledge like MSMT workflows and BRF plus kind
of? When you say ABAP knowledge means?
in the sense, sometimes what happens in 10.0, you need to do the customization as well for the MSMP. So it is it can be an added advantage if you have some knowledge of about. But it is not mandatory, because the reason is most of the time the standard which SAP is providing to its customers meets their requirements as part of the global market standards. But there are customers who wants the customization of the products also. That is the major advantage if you see the ABAP-based technologies and the Java-based, right? In earlier releases, which was there in 5.x, you cannot do the customization. But in ABAP, now it is ABAP-based, so there are a lot of bodies are being published by SAP to the customers, and for the MSMP risk analysis reports, and the integration with the third-party applications. So that could be an added advantage, but it is not mandatory kind of thing also. Okay.
Do you, by any chance, have some documentation which I can follow with you?
Yeah, that is there. Let me.
Because I right now don't even have anything from your side, like what is the course outline and how you will be following it up. And
that I'm showing. Yeah, that is only I am showing you the course contains perspective. I'm opening that particular document only. Let me open it. Oh, sorry. Able to see out of my screen?
yeah, I can see this Government National Territory of Delhi, Directorate of Education.
No, not that. Other documents which is their access control.
The only screen
Contains.
which you are sharing is now SAP Business Object Access Control 10.
Yeah, it is. Actually, I'll be covering off in this particular course. You can see the need of the 10.0. What are the advantages if you are using the how to convince the customers in the sense why a customer should come 10.0 if they are using the 5.3 products, right? And second is a new implementation. What could be an added advantage if they are using 10.0?
Okay, my thing is that because most of the customers are already on 5.3, it would be, I think, more relevant for me would be to how to, move from 5.3 to
Migration.
10. Yeah, the migration part.
Okay, migration part perspective, there are SAP is providing one of the tools. It is there in the course contents. I have put it in, I think. It is there. Migration is there. Okay, in the migration, what happens? There is upgrade and migration. What you have to do is there is a component GRC access control migration tool is there. It is a Java-based application which you need to deploy onto your 5.3 system. Okay, and then you need to export. You need to create one of the location at your GRC 10.0 box, and you are exporting that data to this particular location. But it again depends on the customer to consultants how they are doing the migration. There could be the actual problem you will face is the mapping between the data which is there in 5.3 and the 10.0, right? For example, connectors you are maintaining 5.3. The same connector you may not be maintaining in 10.0, or the naming convention you may have changed in 10.0. So that part is there. Similarly, mitigation controls is again the problem. In 5.3, mitigation control was the part of RAR, but in 10.0 it's a shared location, it's a shared component. Similarly, when you are doing the migration, when you were creating the mitigation controls in 4.0, 10.0, independently you were assigning it to a business, right, Altaf? But in 10.0, the association is changed. It is with respect to the organization. So there is a prerequisite which you need to perform in onto the 10.0 system as well as on the 5.3. Okay. Similarly, if the customers are on the 5.1 and 5.3, 5.2, then they have to upgrade it to the 5.3 first. Then they need to go to the 10.0. And the initial requirement for the migration is SP13 of 5.3 for the migration perspective. Okay, that I'll anyways cover it up. Second way is the consultants are also, it is also advisable instead of doing the migration through the migration tool, you can do it like a fresh implementation also. Okay. That way you can do. Some of the consultants are choosing that way, but it depends on you how you want to go for this. Similarly, for 4. If you are talking about the 4.0 to 10.0, there are customers who are migrating from 4. Sorry. There are customers who are having only 4.0 and they want to migrate to the 10.0. Currently, I have been working with the Tyson Food Corporation for that particular migration. Okay, so that I'll anyways cover it up. The only problem the customers are facing most of the time, the customers are complaining for 10.0 is the performance if we are comparing with the 5.3 because it was easier to use 5.3. But in 10.0 you need to have certain technical stuff, knowledge of the technical stuff, and the develop your learning curve is there. You need to learn certain things like MSMP workflows, BRF plus as I said to you. So that part is there. So customers, there are customers who are not willing to go to 10.0. Okay.
So what is the basic idea? Where should I be starting from? Because as you know that my knowledge is not on 5. anything, and so okay. How would we be approaching this?
Then what I'll do is I'll give you some brief overview of the 5.3 and 5.2 functionalities which were not there in 4.0, right? Maybe you are you aware of this basic terminology of fog bath, data conditions, approval workflows, what kind of the workflows we are maintaining in the COP? That knowledge you have?
No.
Okay. So I'll cover it up in the beginning. And the risk definitions, functions, mitigation controls, that part you have, because generally what happens when most of the time the consultants are coming in, you can have the knowledge in 5.x. Okay. So if you are, these things you have,
the mitigation and segregation of duty.
Mitigation of duties you can.
Okay. I have the knowledge on when we used to do it manually or on the Excel sheets, not automatically or doing it through the Java applications.
Okay, so I'll cover it up also, then all the things. So basically I'll go through like this in your case. First I'll go through the what was there in 5.3, since you will be comparing with the technology wise. What was the differences between 4.0 to 5.3? The major thing, major changes which you see, 4.0 was the ABAP based technology, right? But in 5.3 it was based on the Java based technology, and you were supposed to have the knowledge of SAP NetWeaver server. Java servers, material servers, which you need to deploy onto the customer systems. Then download your builds, individual builds of RAR, CUP, SPM, and BRM from Gentry. Then deploy it to NetWeaver server engine. Okay. Because that knowledge is required in the sense when you're going for an upgradation. First thing is you need to upgrade the 5.3, right? For example, customer has the requirement, I want to migrate from 5.2 to 5.2 to 10.0. Then first thing is you need to get the support packs from 5.3 from the SMP and deploy it onto the SAP NetWeaver server engine. So that overview I'll give you, because system I may not have, but how to do that, what are the steps involved in those areas, because otherwise you need to you need to upgrade towards 5.3 SP13, right?
You said service pack 30. The service pack,
Am I audible?
you are breaking off now.
Okay, now it is okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Service, you were talking something.
I was asking that you said the 5.3 version has a service pack which is 30.
No, 13. Currently it's a 20.
Okay.
See, the current service pack is 20, which is in the market. But for the upgradation part, if you want to go for the migration, the basic requirement, or you can say at least the customer must have to have SP13, 5.3. Then only the upgradation happens. Minimum support pack, you can say. Maximum one is a 20.
Okay. And what is the minimum knowledge we are supposed to know in 5.3 to start going in 10.0?
The basic, there are certain functionalities like data mart was incorporated in 5.3. Change logs which are there. But it is not relevant. You can say it is better to have the knowledge of 5.3. But even though you are not having, anyways, I will cover up all the things with respect to what are the advantages, how to do the implementation of the 10.0 and how to do the upgrade from the 5.3. At that point of time, we can cover those basic concepts of the objects which are there into the RAR or COV. Right.
Right.
That way would be fine.
Yeah.
Because if I go through the 5.3 now, conceptually it's the same 10.0 also. But the only thing is, from the 10.0 perspective, I'll go through complete things. And at that point of time, I'll also cover it up, the differences. For example, mitigation control, I said to you, mitigation, the maintenance of the mitigation control is completely changed from the 4.0 and 5.3 to 10.0. Right. Similarly, if you talk about to define the users into the system, that is also being changed in 10.0. Third thing is various synchronization jobs you were doing from RAR, BRM or COP towards your plugin systems, right? That is the concept that is also changed. So little bit, that differences I will be covering off in the beginning itself. What are the differences, what enhancements has been taken care of by 10.0, why to use the 10.0 harmonization concept. Then after the pre-installation steps, in that particular documents, let me show you the documents also.
Can you send me the course outline and what would be the the documentation which I need to read up?
Okay.
So are you going to take this class or this is the...
No, I'll going to take this class. Actually, the only thing is today I am such in a hurry. Let me open up the documents.
So what is the plan
I'm
for
really very
tomorrow?
sorry. But tomorrow, point of view, I'll go the basic things like harmonize. Let me show you the contents. Okay. Not this one. Not the session one. Yeah, tomorrow I'll go through this one, the architecture 10.0. Okay. What are the basic requirements in terms of the hardware and the software which you need to install? Then after the advantages of 10.0, why to use the 10.0, what kind of the components you need to install, the components which are involved in access control, apart from the technologies and the migration path. Little bit the information I will be passing on for migration also. Okay, this way I'll go through, and the life cycle of any implementation project for 10.0, how will be go ahead, like what are the requirement phase, blueprint documentation, that part. Then after the which components are required actually, and which release you are doing, that way, that upgradation part. Then after the post installations, various steps you need to perform in before using the 10.0 application. So you need to perform the post installation. Yeah. Then after the third session would be something kind of whenever you are going, there are certain checklists which you need to sign off with the basis team or the security teams or with the functional teams, right? So that checklist I will share off, and what kind of the checklist you need to prepare before going for implementation, before going to the actual implementation. It is in the requirement phase only, or of the defining your landscapes. That way.
And the installation is done by the GRC.
It is done by the basis team. No, it is done by the basis team, but the information would be provided by you to the basis team with respect to the nodes, either like which components they have to install, right? And which support packs you want them to apply onto your system. Okay, that information you have to pass to basis team. Yeah.
Okay, and are you going to send this documentation to me?
Yeah, all these are generally I'm sharing for example, this training class or previous training class, whoever is there, I'm sending them this mail through mails. Whenever the session completes, I'll share it with them. And apart from that, if I take some more screenshots or some more information, then I'm putting it out in our documents and send it to the corresponding class.
Okay, so you are sharing the documentation after the class or before the class?
Generally after the class, and if you want, if it is the documents is there with me, which are in the previous classes also. If you want, I can share it in before the class also. But there are certain documents like the actual system go through, which I'll take the screenshots while taking up the class and then preparing the documentation also. That way.
Okay, because right now, you know, what you were talking about, the basic concepts and all of those things, if I have them already, so I can, you know, at least give it a read.
Those I'll send it to you. Those I will send it to you. Altaf, I'm really sorry. Actually, today I am in a little bit hurry. Actually.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, you are.
My daughter. I have to go to hospital for my daughter's examination. That is the reason I'm. going a little bit fast and yeah. So from tomorrow onwards, I will be completely concentrating on the topics and uh, send you once I come back from the hospital. I'll send it to you the documents which you need to go through.
Okay, that's fine.
So these documents I'll send it to you. The session 1. What are the components? What kind of architecture we are using? Technologies and the components which you need to install in. And the basic differences between 5.3 or 10.0. Why to use a 10.0 system? That is basically a brief overview. Then after the master data, what kind of data which is being shared between all the two components, the applications. Yeah,
I was just wondering, where are you actually located right now?
I'm in Delhi.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can imagine. Then, if your daughter is sick, then you might be distracted.
Actually, the problem is I want her to get the admission into school. But these schools are making me something kind of a lot of documentation you have to provide in terms of the medical fitness.
Oh.
Yeah, because she has some problem, so the schools are asking some little bit extra documentation. So for the last 4 to 5 days, I have been fighting with them, and so that's where I'm thinking of. So today's class, little bit.
Right, I know.
Maybe. Yeah.
You might have to, as usually it happens, you have to know somebody instead of you doing it on your own.
Yeah, I'm doing only on my own. The thing is, here, if your child is having some issue, then the schools are not permitting for the admission. That is a problem. Yeah.
Don't you know anybody on the admission committee or something?
No, I know my name is there in the school admission committee, admission list also. But
No,
my
I'm talking about,
having some.
when you go in our part of world, when you go to get admission or into even a school or a government job or any work done, you need to know a person or somebody in that department who can work with you.
Yeah, those departments I know, but it's again it will be something kind of legal actions towards the schools. I need to take it up.
Oh.
But the thing is, I am cooperating with them, and so
yeah,
that is yeah.
Usually it's the laws can be mandated or for updated for those who know the right people.
Yeah, the problem is problem is in India actually also. The thing is, schools are showing that we are very much socially activated and we are supporting any kind of disadvantages to the child. But the reality is different. When you go to the schools, they try to make you not to get the admission.
Yeah, it's one of those things when they are trying to do the socially right thing instead of giving you the help you need.
Yeah, because for last 5 days they are asking this document, that document. So I am going to various hospitals to get that particular data. But the thing is, even here, getting the details is also problematic. So let's see. So that is the reason I am sorry to.
No. Yeah, I got the idea.
Yeah, everything I will be covering up from from the first class onwards. What you need to do is, and all the 5.3
you can send me the details.
also I have.
You can send me the tape, the files which I need to read, and any documentation which you have, so that I can read it in advance. When you are talking about it, it will be easier for me to follow it up with you.
Okay. And if you want, we can go through some 5.3 system also for one session. In 5.3 systems, how we're using. So the comparison you can make it out. For example, if we are doing the RAR, then I can take half an hour for 5.3 system walkthrough, you can say. What kind of contains are in 5.3. Then you can correlate with that thing with the 10.0.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, so because in this present market, we need to have a background in both because 10 dot version is basically just new, and not too many people have the exposure to it. But the 5.3 is the version which is already in the market. So
and I have to believe that 5.3 is more popular than 10.0.
Exactly, because
of
ease of use.
The feedback which SAP is getting from their customers is that 10.0 is having a lot of issue with respect to the performance. Although it has improved a lot from 5.3, but and the look and feel and the uses of the application is quite difficult in 10.0. Maintenance part is a difficult one.
I think it would be the same way it will go, like when SAP was working with the previous versions of before the NetWeaver and ECC6, they were trying to implement that XI thing.
Okay.
And now they are having problems, and so now they went to ABAP and Java stacks.
And then when the Oracle has taken over the Java, then they are moving the Java stack to ABAP only.
Right.
Because Vimtimpo for Java was there. So last 2 years they are not using. They are even we are getting the mails from SAP. Try to use SAP JVM instead of the Oracle JVM. So the SAP is doing the testing for the SAP JVM itself, and going forward they will not support Oracle JVM.
Yeah, because they are going to be losing those support from Oracle, because Oracle is kind of,
yeah, the licensing could also be a major licensing part. So they are circulating their SAP is circulating the mails to various teams who are working on the Java-based technologies and saying, kindly test your application in SAP environment and SAP JVMs. And that way. That is the reason 10.0 came into the picture, because before 10.0, SAP developed the 6.0 also. After 5.3, they started the development of 6.0, SAP Access Control 6.0, and almost it was completed. Out of 6 sprint, 4 was completed, then scrapped, because at that point of time, SAP Oracle has taken over the Java.